Massive changes coming to WWE Raw and SmackDown, plus an AEW star has been granted creative control. We're going to talk about all that plus so much more right here on the Ango Show. All right, guys, you know we're pushing through whatever is going on here. It is what it is. Can't control it, but we're definitely being proactive. You guys need to get your daily wrestling news, so let's kick things off with a spoiler. Let me be very clear. WWE is pre-taping things in advance, and there is an update. But this is a major update to a story we have been talking about in recent days. So if you guys don't like spoilers, I have given you enough time at this point to fast forward into the future of this video. As always, I put timestamps in the description down below. If you guys don't want to be spoiled, I'm giving you that opportunity to do that now. Literally, I've given you 20 seconds to do so. So at this point, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, Rhea Ripley is back in the WWE. WWE has pre-taped WWE Raw for next week. Rhea Ripley is back, and she is sporting a face mask. Now, you might be wondering, Ango, why are you talking about this? Why is this news? Well, just the other day, there was rumors and speculation that Rhea Ripley would not be back in time, maybe not even until WrestleMania 41, and now that seems to be the fakest news ever. Rhea Ripley is back in the WWE. I'm not going to tell you guys what the plans are. I'm not going to tell you guys what has been spoiled. I'm not going to read any of that to you guys. But Rhea Ripley is back, and she is physically active. So, for those who thought that Rhea Ripley was going to be taking time off, I totally understand where you're coming from. I was under the impression that she was going to be away for a while. WWE did not really comment on this, but there was obviously a lot of speculation outside of it, which makes for a big deal. And really, this is why spoilers could somewhat be annoying, right? And that's why I try to give you guys an ample amount of time to fast forward into the video. Because, again, I don't want to spoil what has happened here. I don't want to tell you guys what she's done in the ring or where she's aligned or what the storyline is. But it doesn't sound like Rhea Ripley's taking the time off that everybody thought she would be taking off. So, this is obviously the bad part about spoilers. This is one of those things that I hate about professional wrestling, when there are spoilers. And really what it comes down to is WWE, WWE, AEW, whatever it may be, we try so hard to stay away from the spoilers, but in this day and age with social media and Instagram and TikTok and everything, it is so difficult. And I do think it definitely hurts the experience of being a professional wrestling fan. And I also hate the fact that WWE wasted her return for a pre-taped episode, which I think turns into a major problem. But as you guys will see later on in this video, there is some massive changes coming to WWE, and we will have to talk about that. Jon Moxley is given creative control in AEW, at least according to Dave Meltzer. He says that Tony Khan is letting Jon Moxley basically do whatever the hell he wants with the new Death Riders faction. He says that Tony Khan has to approve everything, but he's pretty much in charge of turning this place around with this gimmick. And that is a lot of responsibility for Jon Moxley. It's not very often that we hear of wrestlers getting creative control in modern day wrestling. Jon Moxley has been given the creative control to do what he wants. Obviously, Tony Khan has to approve it. What do you guys think about this? What is your genuine reaction to hearing that Jon Moxley's been given creative freedom? I'm going to be very honest with you. I've always been against wrestlers having creative freedom. But in AEW, it seems like there's too many people in the kitchen and not enough great recipes coming out of it. And I think for somebody like Jon Moxley, who is involved in a very high-profile storyline, I'm hoping that this actually turns the corner for AEW. I am hopeful that the storyline gets AEW back on track. I like the faction. I like what they've been doing with it. So far, there really hasn't been an issue with it from my point of view. I've always been against the idea that wrestlers would be given creative control. I think we all saw, with Hulk Hogan and others, what it kind of does to a wrestling show. But also for AEW, I think they're still young enough. I think they're still trying to figure things out. And in this particular situation, as long as Jon Moxley is doing things that Tony Khan approves, I think it's fine. I believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I do think it is, in fact, okay. But really what it comes down to is a couple things. Death Riders faction is clearly a primary storyline for AEW. This is the one that they're trying to lead with. This is the one that they're trying to make into a big deal. This is the one that they are trying to sell everybody on watching AEW. And quite frankly, I think it's a good thing for AEW to have a massive storyline like this, but you need more, right? And obviously I'm hoping that AEW figures it out, because this is a good storyline. It is a good storyline. And obviously you got pictures of Brian Danielson leaking, where now he buzzed his head and he's in the bath and ice bath and stuff like that. And you don't know what it's going to be like when he comes back or whatever it may be. So I'm hoping that this is strong enough. I will say this. I don't think everybody should be given creative control. I know at one point it was said that Mercedes Moné was also given creative control. Tony Khan's got to he's going to have to kind of play this off a little bit different, because you can't give everybody creative control. You need to really be organized in the situation. And obviously for Tony Khan, Jon Moxley is your ride or die. And I've been talking about that for a while. I have made mention of this before. Jon Moxley very clearly cares about this company. He cares about the growth of AEW, and that's absolutely massive. All right, guys, we're talking about the Rhea Ripley thing. WWE is making a massive change. I think it's actually a little bit problematic, but I also understand the good of this. WWE typically didn't give talent off for the holidays. Now WWE in advance is taping more episodes at once. We saw it with last night's Raw. They started a little bit earlier. They pre-taped another episode for the next week. WWE will be doing the same thing with SmackDown as well. A week in advance of on November 22nd, they're going to be taping another episode of SmackDown. Basically, WWE during the holidays now, or at most crucial times, maybe when there's international travel or whatever it may be, you're going to see WWE pre-tape more episodes of Raw and SmackDown moving forward. This is problematic, right? I was talking about it earlier in today's video with Rhea Ripley. I was talking about this earlier in the sense of, WWE pre-taping things. I think it makes it less exciting. I think WWE saving big returns for pre-taped episodes is problematic. It's no secret. I don't like pre-taped wrestling. I think there's a lot of people who are on the same board as me. I think there's a lot of people who understand that pre-taped wrestling just isn't interesting. I think for WWE, it's a fantastic change, because you are giving flexibility to your talent to be home for the holidays and to actually have a little bit of a personal life, and to have family life and that work-life balance. But at the same time, too, the caveat or the negativity that comes from this is that pre-taped episodes typically aren't that good, honestly. And I feel like the last few that we've seen that were pre-taped have genuinely been pretty bad in general. So, and this is not just a WWE thing, but pre-taped wrestling is something I've never liked. I even say this about TNA. Like, TNA has a good product, but if you're not live, it's not enjoyable. Sometimes AEW Collision or Rampage being pre-taped, it's like, it really hurts the product. And I think that's a big thing, right? Like, this is a good change for WWE's talent, but from a viewer's perspective, I simply just don't like pre-taped TV. It's a massive change, though. This is not something that WWE typically does, and this is WWE's attempt and effort to allow talent to be home more often, and they have a crazy schedule, and I understand it. So it is what it is, but you guys can let me know what you think down below.